A friend of mine uses the analogy of throwing your backpack over the fence. It's like, if you know you want to go this way and there's big ass fence that's in front of you, throw your backpack because now your only option is to actually
I like that.
get on the other side.
I like that a lot.
I knew you'd like that, Logan.
Damn, I do that.
Have you seen my hat anywhere?
You did. You lost your hat.
I feel just...
Why are you tweaking about it?
Because I feel like something's missing. And by the way, you know who made it? Maverick.
By Logan Paul?
Our sponsor.
Oh my God.
And so
Did you think to go in the merchandise store of the house?
It's like a limited hat. I can't. We don't have another one.
Well, you know what? We do have more
What?
on loganpaul.com/shop. Big
I'll
shouts
just
to
buy
Maverick
one.
by Logan
Yeah.
Paul for sponsoring this episode. And also welcome back to Impulsive, the #1 podcast in the world. If you are not subscribed, make sure to do so. Hit that button. Join the Impulsive family, the squad, the gang, skirt. Thank you guys for listening. Comment below what you think of the episodes. Like I said, always and often, we listen and love, by the way, your feedback. Feeling good today. Second podcast of the day. We're going to a film festival and then celebrating Evan's birthday in Vegas later this week. So we're stacking them all up. I have a pimple on my mouth, though. It hurts.
really.
Can't stop burping.
In
Are
it
you
or
zooming
on
in?
it?
I saw you fucking twist your hand, Andre. You're zooming in? It's right here. It's this one.
You're clearing up though.
Except
I gotta
this one.
say,
This is one of those, bro.
that's the last stand.
Well, it's going to hit the mirror when I pop it. It's
You
one
think
of
you could
those.
pop a pimple with a pop zoom from Andre's camera?
If you pop
Got
hard
close enough?
Yeah, you could.
Let's not do it. No,
Try it.
why don't you just stay wide? Should we introduce the guys?
I would like to do nothing else.
All right, cool. Hey, by the way, there's two of them today that I'm about to bring on.
More than one.
They're an unlikely band of brothers with over 3 million YouTube subscribers. They've gone bungee jumping out of a helicopter with Will Smith,
What?
fooled the internet with the fake Justin Bieber burrito prank, and they say yes to everything except drugs, I think. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Yes Theory.
What's up, boys?
What's up?
You guys don't say yes to drugs, right?
No.
Okay,
that's good.
And actually, a lot of other things we don't say yes to.
Oh,
Just the
What else?
Anything that doesn't contribute to like growth or doesn't have a clear reason and a why at the center of it.
In
Of
and
some-
out cheeseburgers.
I mean, sometimes.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Depending on the day.
You're not maybe
But,
theory.
yeah.
Are you going to do the no headphones? You don't have to. I'm just saying that's bold.
Don't do
Actually,
It's kind of a
yeah,
joke.
you don't
Yeah.
have to. You don't have to. You're the second guest to not wear headphones.
I
Steve-O
don't-
was the first.
Yeah. It's just too much having. I already hear your voices too much in my ear.
Okay.
All right, fair enough.
Fuck it.
Fair enough.
Hey, how you guys doing? Thanks for coming to Encino.
Dude, thanks for having us.
Of course. We're missing one.
Yeah.
Thomas.
Thomas.
Yes, he's back home editing, working hard.
And what happened the other day where like you were supposed to come out for we had our Super Bowl party, right?
Yeah.
What were you doing?
I was resting after like 3 days of going nonstop, turning our house into a hotel.
How'd that work?
For one last, actually, the whole time we were filming it, it was like turning into a Fire Fest scenario.
Seems
but-
a bit seems a bit sketchy.
Yeah, but actually we pulled it off, and through collaboration and just like our close group of friends coming together to help us out pull it off.
What if you came back and it was just a whorehouse? 100%. Just prostitutes everywhere.
When
Did you ever think of that? Potentially
I was just saying, like, unintentionally, your hotel house turns into a whorehouse.
It happens to hotels all the time.
It does.
They got to be
Not-
real cautious with that.
Not hotel yes. That's not the kind of yes you get at a hotel yes.
Why did you do that? Why did you turn your house into a hotel?
Because this is actually our last week in that house. We've been there ever since we moved to Venice about 2.5 years ago, and we have had our biggest moment of our lives, most transformation in that space.
Is that the apartment?
Yeah, no, that's the big house with the backyard. in
Okay.
Venice. Yeah, but and we have been abandoning the inside of it for about a few months now since we moved out living, and now we just work out of there. So the editing happens in the backyard.
Got you.
Yeah.
So the inside was just a complete mess, and for a proper send off and a goodbye for the house, we wanted to clean the inside and actually make it livable for guests that are gonna come and sleep the last
How
night
much money
ever.
you make? You make.
Yeah, no. So actually, the way we identified like the value of the room is we put a bid out to the audience, but the idea was to make someone think that that's what they're gonna pay, but when they come, we actually don't accept the payment because.
Oh, okay.
So the offer was
Yeah.
$1,000. Someone wanted to pay $1,000 to come spend the night there. So that's
Will
can
you
call
guys
that-
be there too when they come say? or-
Yeah. We already did the episode and it was filmed. Yeah, it was a great success.
Fire.
So
A great success.
very nice. Next Sunday on YesTheory.com.
No, you can plug. I don't care. They're gonna buy LoganPaul.com/shop, so it's whatever. So all right, I do want to address basically like who you guys are and what you do. So Yes Theory, this is fucking awesome because subconsciously I've done this my whole life, and then you guys like made it a brand. And now it's Seek Discomfort is your slogan. So yeah, does one of you want to give the spiel, which you've done 1,000 times, about what Yes Theory is?
For sure. Yeah. So we believe that all the best things in life happen when you say yes and when you get out of your comfort zone. We were all kind of in our own little routines when we first met, and we wanted to find a way to just grow and push ourselves to the limit. And we figured that the best way to do that was just to seek discomfort in every way, in every facet of life, from dating girls to meeting people that you really wanted to meet and that you looked up to. And just to really, really challenge yourself. And even if it's like a marathon or a 10K race, like shit that just you would normally not do, that you normally say no to, because that's the default to say no. And I mean, just like you said, you've been doing it for so long, just like putting stuff out and like pushing yourself and like taking on stuff that you don't think you'd be good at. And then we made it kind of like our lifestyle, our living, to just really, really say yes.
Fortunate that you found three of you that believe in that logic. How did you all meet?
We all met in Montreal, Canada in the summer of 2015. Very serendipitously. The three of us were almost never supposed to meet, but somehow.
There we go.
Yeah.
I like
you
that.
Ready for this? Okay.
like that.
So I guess I'll start with where I was at that point. I was in Montreal raising money for a tech startup that I had been working on throughout college. Realized that Montreal wasn't the right place for me, so wanted to relocate to New York. In my last week in Montreal, I was walking on the street just one night, and I heard just noise coming from a rooftop. It was the area where students that went to the universities, the big universities in Montreal, were living. So I knew it was a student party, and I figured I might as well just pop in and try and find a way to sneak in.
Yeah.
Two girls walking down the street. I was like, "Hey, there's a party going up there. Do you wanna check it out?" I don't think they would let me go in on my own, but if you guys come, that will increase my chance.
Nice, smart. That's a veteran. That's a veteran nightclub.
All right.
move,
It
dude.
worked.
Veteran move.
It worked, and then never saw them again after we walked into the rooftop. Started talking to people, telling them about my story, what I was up to, what I was trying to create, and everybody was like, "Oh, you should meet Thomas. You guys sound very."
Oh, no way.
Yeah, you guys. There's a lot of similarities here. About 25 minutes later, I ended up meeting Thomas, and there was an instant just click in the way we bonded and the way we interacted. And from there, when you meet someone, you're like, there's something interesting happening.
Yep.
You fall in love. There's
You fell in love with Thomas.
yeah, big time. It's like,
I love my boys.
yeah, exactly.
No problem.
It's true.
Hey, didn't you just huck a fucking marathon one day? As part of.
I love that he just left Montreal and went straight for the marathon.
I'm just
I was
saying-
like,
Welcome to Impulsive, man.
That's literally why we named the show that. We both have severe forms of ADHD. So
Same.
I'm like remembering because we do have some history, which I'm sure we'll get into. But I remember you telling me you're just like, I'm gonna run a marathon. I'm like, I don't think you really just do that.
yeah.
But
You
did,
texted him.
right?
You told him.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
It was, we had met right after the half marathon. He was like, "Wait, you did the half marathon? You woke up and you did the half marathon?" I was like, "Yeah." And then later on in March, we end up running the LA marathon.
And you
with
just
no
did
training.
You just did a half Ironman.
I just did a half, and
Jesus
this guy and I, in what, 3 months?
Yeah,
Are doing the full,
pretty much
my
3
first
months.
full Ironman. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, Matt got
Doing it
me
together.
into doing the Santa Rosa Ironman.
y'all are doing it together.
We're doing
Yes,
it together,
sir.
bro.
With Aaron, actually, who is Will Smith's personal trainer, who's
Holy
really pushing us to take
shit.
us to the next level.
Yeah.
Is Eli doing that, or is that
No, just we've got a crew of 3.
Yeah.
okay? So then we're missing one still. Where's Matt at this point? It's you and Thomas.
Oh, okay. So I meet. Wow, this guy again. Sorry, that is crazy. I'm like,
Get your head in the game, bro.
yeah. I'm gonna
It's just
get
gonna
it.
keep on happening.
get it.
He's
So,
an honest salesman.
Life is a dry hand job, man.
That is the tagline of the century.
is that your tagline as a?
Yeah, you just never know.
Welcome back to Impulsive, where life is a dry hand job. Oh, so where does Matt come in?
Matt comes in. I meet Thomas. We establish that connection. Thomas offers me a place to stay in his apartment before I move to New York. I go to stay with Thomas for that first night, and I meet Matt at the door. And it was also an instant, like, just laughs, high spirits, good times right away. And then the first night we spent together, it was like magic was happening.
Dude,
The
you
ideas-
make this sound super. I fell in love in the first night we spent together.
To him, it was magical. To you guys, it's just like another night. It's
like
no problem.
Yeah.
No, Amar, I feel like you're pretty in touch with your emotions,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, I
love it.
It's the only way to do life, right?
Do you remember? So, you guys came to my house, this house, and you shot a video living with Logan Paul for 24 hours.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
And we didn't know much about each other, and then you stuck around and helped me shoot a couple of days while Brendan was out. And at dinner, you were the only sober one in that trip to Andy's family's house. And you were just on a roll, bro. And that's when I was like, damn, this is like a magical fucking human being. So I'm glad you guys were able to connect because of a common belief. And I don't think a lot of people realize the power of positivity and affirmation, saying yes. Is there a limit? Is it what, if something's involves like seek discomfort, if you're in physical discomfort, is that a yes still?
Like, should I be seeking to tear my ACL? Like, is there?
Mike
where
has been
does it-
shitting blood. At what
I
point
heard
does he
that.
say
I
no?
haven't been. It was kind of just like one thing that just popped up. I've drawn a correlation between that and heavy partying, and so I'm starting to kind of tone it down a little bit. But
Good.
yeah. Where do you draw the line? Like, is it physical? Is it physical deformity or like being maimed by your yeses? Like, where is it?
Where do we draw the line?
I think when it becomes, just near death, is when we're like, okay, we've recently had an experience where it was kind of that situation where we're like, okay, maybe we're pushing it a little too far. Where we were in Poland with Wim Hof, who's a big breathing coach.
Yeah,
You just
were
did
talking
this,
about
right?
this,
We
yeah.
just did this, yeah. And he taught us over 4 days, and he was this incredible guy. And on the last day, it was this big mission to go to the mountaintop, and it was negative 20 Celsius. And we were going to do it in shorts with snow up to pretty much our kneecaps. And we were all excited in the beginning. We were like, oh, Wim does this all the time, so we're comfortable doing it,
I don't think
and
so.
it starts snowing, and 2 hours of climbing later, and it's so cold. Like the ski lifts to the top have been shut down. There's no skiers. Like, it's too windy. It's too cold. And we're up there in negative 20 with just like trying to keep our hands warm like this, And even Wim was like, we need to turn back. And we're like, we're so
What?
far up.
Even Wim Hof. is
Even
like,
Wim
yo,
was like,
it's
dude, Wim
pissed
Hof
right now.
was cold. We were like,
What?
This is not a good sign.
Are you allowed to say this?
I mean, yeah. Well, the
not gonna be
episode
mad?
is not. No. I mean, it was really intense,
Like,
like
really?
abnormally cold that day. But luckily, we found a cabin that was just randomly there.
And Wim Hof is the dude that like swims underneath ice banks
Yeah, dude.
and chills in frozen bathtubs for hours on
Yeah,
end.
he's got pretty much every world
Yeah.
record in regards to
Okay.
human endurance for the cold.
So I feel like you're saying you lost phalanges of some sort. You have all your fingers
it
and
was
toes.
close. It was close.
Yeah, we're gonna call a veto on the rest of what happened for that because it's
Yeah.
unreleased. He's saying too much, and I'm like,
That's fine. Not
it's
a lot
fine there.
happened.
That's another thing though. Where's the balance? Like, how did balance? I'm from Ohio. Balance.
It's a major challenge sometimes.
Talent.
Great talent.
Thomas, like, why did he get stuck with editing today? How do you guys figure out who's doing what?
We kind of have like we circulate. So let's say there's an episode that requires traveling. We just see which two have the most energy to do that, and these two go do it. And then one of us subs. One of the two that traveled ends up subbing for the other for the following week. This way, none of us burn out, and all of us can have time to do other things that are not just filming videos and actually take care of ourselves. Which is, I mean, that was our biggest realization of 2018: self-care and how
Paramount,
it will
yeah.
be.
Yeah.
So you guys actually do other stuff because we're pretty much just working. You guys actually do other stuff, yeah?
I mean,
You have like
What's that
lives.
question,
You have
Mike?
like you have like lives outside of filming and podcasts.
yeah,
and stuff like that?
yeah.
What's that like?
what is that like, man? Because
Having a life?
all we do is nothing.
All we do is
Except
podcast,
work,
film, vlog.
Nah, we drink
vlog,
sometimes.
whatever. Sometimes.
Um,
You've been working me to the
You
bone, man.
still sober?
yeah.
That's good. What about you?
I drink very, very little. Yeah. How about you?
Once a week,
Nice.
sometimes twice, sometimes 5 times a week. Sometimes I'm doing 7 days a week.
Well, it's
I
interesting
drink
when
all
we
the
met.
time.
I remember one of the first times we met. We were on top of a hotel. I don't know if you remember
I
this.
do
when we
remember
snuck
that.
in.
I do remember that.
And we went to go like take a shot just to celebrate, you know. And I remember you were like, "Nah, I'm good."
Yeah, it depends. It's depends what part of my life I'm in.
Yeah.
And
We just did a whole month.
we did a whole month
January.
of sober
Yeah, Spencer
vegan.
just
Sober
told
vegan.
me.
Wow.
I'm
And then you broke your fast on. Oh my God, that looked just.
That giant
you saw that?
cheeseburger.
I saw
Are
that.
you vegan?
No, I'm not.
Oh, but it's still, yeah.
like kind of. Just
I
part, a
love
part of
that
my,
these two guys are vegan.
oh,
Yeah.
they
tough.
weren't happy.
The filmers were vegan of that scene.
Spencer or Andre the morning of goes,
tough,
I'm
bro.
not gonna lie, dude. I've been dreading filming this. And I'm just like, I understand it's kind of like gross, but
It was tough.
I was like, when I saw it, I was
Mm.
like, "Come on, Logan, take it easy." Dude.
I know.
Just in all honesty, I was like,
well, that's why I ask where you draw the line, because my yes theory doesn't end. Like, like literally, like you say when it comes to near death experiences.
that's like the extreme
that's
of
extreme.
that. But I think where we draw the line is when we feel that the discomfort that we're seeking, or like on the other side of that, we won't necessarily come out with any perspective or lesson learned that can impact the rest of our life.
what about that? What about the legacy?
The legacy of what, of having done? I mean, we'll leave that for to other people, right? Like there's other people who just want to do these things, all the crazy. I mean, a lot of people draw inspiration from Jackass for that kind of thing. Obviously, you know, a lot of respect for Jackass for having inspired so many people to pick up a camera, but that's not necessarily what we're going for. We go for stuff that can actually have a transformative element of the experiences that we go through, and by telling these stories on camera, we can allow people to have to access those experiences just like they were there with us.
It's awesome, dude. And in my research for you guys, I sort of reached the conclusion that your approach to life is a lot more wholesome than mine. I'm a bit aggressive, like in your 2018 year in review video, when you were talking about how everyone told you like you can never do like an ensemble YouTube group, and your response to that was, well, why not try? My response is like, fuck you, watch me. You know, like I'm a little bit more like, I don't know why. I just feel like I gotta go.
So much testosterone.
I mean, you're both
Logan.
saying, well, you're both saying the same thing. It's just you're saying it in different ways. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I mean,
Question.
technically,
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So like, okay, Alex Honnold, the dude who free soloed Al Capitan.
Yeah.
That's too far for y'all? Say you were really good despite the physical.
I think, as he said in the film Free Solo, that's more of a to be on that level, to want to take on a challenge like that. That's more of a spiritual journey that you go through, and that's and Free Solo as a concept for just across extreme sports. You don't really ask someone why they're doing it, or because they get to the point where they just realize that that's where they're gonna get satisfaction. So you don't question them, you let them do their thing. Obviously, Free Solo, we would never ever be in a situation where one mistake will lead to death. Yeah. We try and take safety precautions in the things we do, except for this last one thing we did.
You
But-
didn't wear gloves?
No gloves,
That's-
no
okay.
guineas, no nothing. I was in Speedos actually, but that's for the episode. on
Which you can find on youtube.com.
youtube.com/yes.
I saw one that I liked from you guys where you tried to survive on Tinder matches.
Yeah, of
That one
course you
spoke
watched
to
that,
me.
Michael.
It spoke to me.
Of course.
Oh, he
to
loves
Mike.
Tinder.
Like,
How's
Out
Mike's?
of anything on the channel, we've had 3 years of catalog of episodes.
No,
we
but
had.
I've seen a ton of your guys' stuff. But that one I watched recently and I found it particularly interesting. How'd you come up with the idea for that one?
We were in Europe at the time, and we have the people always ask us how we come up with ideas. We have Monday brainstorms. Every Monday we sit together for about 2 hours, and then we have a prompt or not. We just sit down and try and think of what is the funnest thing that we can do that can still bring value and something that we'd really enjoy doing.
Yeah.
And obviously, when I say fun, it's fun within the context of seeking discomfort, because that has to be the consistent thing that people keep coming back to. So for that one, it was more of just having a spin on how do we do a travel episode with an interesting spin on it. How do you really get to seek discomfort? And the idea was, I personally had never had any success on Tinder.
What do you define as success on Tinder? What does Tinder success look like?
To you,
I like finding connection and stuff. You know?
I mean, who finds connection
that's
on
not
Twitter?
Tinder.
besides-
That might be Bumble, dude.
my
Tinder's
my
not
first I had 2 girlfriends, and my first one we actually met on Tinder, and it was my only only and first Tinder match.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Hey, that's kind
Wait,
of cool.
only
we're not
match?
talking
One
about
match?
experience. This is where I draw the line. We're not talking about experience. Okay, voila. But so yeah, we were just finding it, like trying to find an interesting spin on travel, something that would obviously resonate with a global audience where, I mean, as YouTubers, you try and think of the packaging of the concepts that you try and put out.
Yeah.
And we knew that Tinder can be a really good way to bring in people who are curious about it, which ended up being true. People were so interested in that concept because everybody was like, oh, look at these guys using a dating app to actually, travel around and score things for free.
So I don't understand. You'd match with someone and then be like, yo, by the way, can I sleep over and
Buy me
like
lunch,
meet your parents?
like-
No, so we would. It took so many swipes to even get one match. It was bad.
Well, whose
I was
face did you use?
I was like, that's when I stopped using.
Gotta use this guy.
We did use this guy, and I just took care of captioning. And
They don't know he does the voiceover for Yes Theory?
That's not me.
even-
It's not even
it's
me.
Thomas.
Shut up.
Thomas.
Your voice
Yeah.
is so soothing, though.
Thank you, dude. Thank you.
And when you talk real close to the mic.
Thank God I'm not wearing that. So yeah, we end up again. Tinder ended up being the concept, and we would match with. I took Matt's profile, and I.
Well, Amar is the better texter. I'm not very good at texting, so I would be the face
you
of
don't
it,
play
and then
cute?
He'd play the cute, and then I would do the talking.
You sure this is illegal, guys?
Of course it is.
Is this some sort of catfish?
No. Well, we would explain like, hey, we're doing this challenge where we try and survive 3 days across 3 European cities based on the kindness and spontaneity of strangers. And we're doing that through Tinder. We have guys and girls like in our range. Like it's not just like, we're not just going for girls. Actually, the last person that helped us in Barcelona was a guy that we matched with in a Tinder social when that was a thing.
To be friends.
To be
with people.
friends, yeah. So yeah, we were just like fully optimizing Tinder at that point to try and find people to host.
Did they pay you for the partnership?
No, they
it was
didn't.
all.
It was all just
because those guys are spending big money on influencer right now. That man Bumble, both of them, yeah.
Well, Tinder. Yes,
You owe us money.
Zach at yestheory.com.
We've talked about quite a few times on the show about how there's a lot of negativity in the world. People focus on negativity.
Yes, Spencer.
And there's not
Give
that
me
many.
the deep stuff. Here we go. Give me the deep stuff.
There's not that many people that focus on positivity. Some people think, and I've always been against that. I think there's so many people who love positive content, positivity. So how have you guys capitalized off that? How have you found the world of positivity to really actually consume content?
Well, I think it comes more naturally. I think when you meet people, especially when you travel, 99% of people are positive. 99% of people are nice. Like even when we were doing the Tinder thing, I mean, girls trusted us to crash at their places.
That's
as friends,
crazy
you know?
to me, man.
And
But also the way, not to, I'm
you're good,
benchmarking
you're
what you're
good.
saying. The way you said it, Amar, using the words kindness and spontaneity of strangers, like you've scripted out like what gets the best reaction, I'm sure, from strangers at this point.
Yeah, I mean, at that point, we're like, there's so much trial and error in what we do, and actually understanding what's the best angle to have an ask, especially a crazy one, like the ones we are always asking people. So in a way, it was like every time we did an episode like this, it was training for the next one, so that now I can go up to anyone and know exactly how to project my energy in a way that expresses my intention, which is always positive and never to be malicious towards anyone. And then actually hopefully get a positive response from them because of the reception to my energy when I ask them.
I always wonder how like my response would be. Like if I didn't know you or anything about you, like if he came up to you and was like, yo, can I spend a night at your house because I'm traveling across Los Angeles? Like what? I feel like I'd say yes.
They're always, to me, like there's just certain people that are just received better than others. Like I met you tonight. I went out to shake your hand. It wasn't a handshake. It was a hug. It turned right into a hug. And it's like, I think I pride myself in being one of those people too. I enter every room with a smile and how are you? How you doing today? Like, hope your day is going well. And usually I'm making a joke and making people laugh or whatever. And so if either of these two guys came up to me and said, hey, listen, like, I don't have any money, but I matched with you on Tinder. That probably wouldn't happen, but it could, whatever.
You never know.
Maybe on Tinder social. But I think I would be like, yo, let's get lunch. Like, if you did,
but no, I'm saying
you're a big brolic Ohio kid. Like,
yeah, but fuck you. All right. I could, no, because I smile.
Yeah, so
Like, hey,
I think it comes with like an agenda. Oh, damn, that smells good.
it is good.
It comes with an agenda too. Like, you feel free to take it, but it comes with like if you come into something with like a freeloading agenda, then you like people feel that. But if you're
sure.
coming in and you're like genuine, just a positive person, you want to experience good things in the world, and like
that's what I was thinking. I think it's more about the type of person that you're asking. Like, bro, you're cool as fuck, dude. Like it wouldn't, there's no ill will, and not to be cynical, but how often are you meeting people who are just closed-minded to everything?
More in America probably than when you're abroad, right?
It's funny. I think at this point we know walking. I feel in the past definitely, but now walking on the street, we kind of know who our people are.
Really?
Yeah. It's a very instinctual, at least for me, when I go up to ask people. You can kind of always tell body language, the way you're carrying yourself, your posture. Like there's all these different signs of your awareness as a human and how you walk. That then, because of also trial and error, I have seen enough people that have said no, and I've seen enough people that have said yes, to kind of establish a baseline for where do I find success.
Is the smile the biggest giveaway?
Oh,
Yeah,
It has to
instantly,
be.
for sure.
show them.
My smile?
Any smile. Any smile.
no,
There it is, baby.
I mean, people, I would love to see people just spending more time smiling, dude. It is like the ultimate icebreaker, war breaker, like peacekeeper, like just walking into a room with that like grin on your face and just like a real happy, like positive attitude.
Absolutely.
Like I don't think there's anything else in the world that's as infectious as a good smile.
Absolutely.
You know?
Definitely. Well, I think a lot of people are just walking around pretty lonely and pretty sad a lot of the time, and don't feel necessarily like they're part of a community. And any like opportunity to have that kind of interaction, I think will make people's days, you know? And then we bring those people into our community and we have like an episode with them and we get to know them. And a lot of them will say like, well, I mean, either start crying or just, you know, tell us like, this has made my year. I've never experienced anything like this.
Yeah. And the way they felt included and they felt like they belonged to something and they were just fully able to be present in an experience. And I think just adding on what Matt is saying, I think so many things in life are now pushing us away from the true spirit of human connection and how we're supposed to interact with each other as a human race to actually be able to survive all the challenges that we're going to have. And with Yes Theory, we just really try to bring it back to that, to the basics of how we connect as humans and what's the code for when you're out in public and you're presenting yourself. How do you ask people for things? Because I mean, our whole message is just ask. If you want something, just ask for it.
I always say that to people. And oftentimes I say that to people when they ask me, so, yo, can you shout me out on Instagram? I always say no, but at least I'm saying that instead of like leading them on or so. I'll be like, nah, man, it's kind of not my thing. But always ask, by the way, because you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Logan, can you shout you out on Instagram?
We're going to.
I mean, for you guys, obviously I'll do it. All right. I'm just saying, you know, you get the random like bartender who's like, yo, by the way, just throw me on that tag. I'm like, I don't know you, but always ask.
It's funnier when they tell them to follow them. Like, can you follow me on Instagram? It's like, I don't follow anybody on Instagram.
What message do you feel like you guys are trying to push now? Like, what do you feel like your focus is?
It's always the same. It's always the same, dude. I am so passionate about doing your own thing, staying in your lane, being different, and not being afraid to do that. And I always have been, ever since I was young, and especially now, dude. Like, I've been counted out. I feel like right now, I feel like I'm an underdog right now, and now's the time where it's like, trust the vision. And as long as I keep believing in myself, what I know I'm good at, or believe that I believe myself to be good at, it's gonna be all right, dude.
And adding to that, just make sure you've got the right people around you, because those are the people that are gonna make sure that your own judgment of all of that is correct. And I think, I mean, and I texted you after you posted your own your year in review, and I said great job on what you did, because I feel, definitely you are, your message is all about doing your own thing and being different. And I feel your tone of how you communicate that message has evolved a lot. And for that, like, props to you. Keep it going. Keep doing the positive thing.
Thank you.
Stay away from big burgers and wasting food.
Hey, we ate all of it. We ate it.
Fair.
I have a question. It's a it's a bit sensitive. But I think we're here. I want to ask you guys this. When you did when you guys lived in my house for 24 hours or whatever, I was in like prime vlog mode. Yeah. Like daily vlog. And it's hard for me to even look back and reminisce about what I was like. Like I watched the content. I'm like, who the
You were
fuck
crazy,
is this
bro.
kid? I was crazy.
You were
bro.
off the wall.
I was crazy. I was cringy. Is like not all the time, but a lot of times I was just like, and I look at it, I'm like, oh fuck. It's like I now see what people are saying. I swear to God.
Let me draw the picture here. Matt BC and I walk into Logan's house, this house, and the first thing that I see is Logan in the kitchen, just grabbing a plate and just throwing it across.
Damn.
Literally any of the shatters could fly into someone's shin or
Damn.
I was like, where the fuck did we just walk into? I was so overwhelmed. But then it's funny because what Matt and I were talking about this in the car about like what that was like actually. Because
Yeah.
that experience of being here at your house for that day was very different from when we went to Andy's house up in Seattle and actually got to see
Yeah.
a side of Logan that like I don't think the world has necessarily seen. Like very vulnerable. Like we had very real conversations about childhood and about upbringing and all that. So
Yeah. So my question is, because it's like it's so interesting. Like when a camera was shoved in my face, then not shoved in my face. I did it, I guess by myself. But
Self-shoved.
did you guys see any red flags? Did anything click in your mind that said this operation could go off the rails?
It's a spicy
by
question.
being like by filming with you.
Nah, no, not for you. I'm saying like when you looked at my life, because I look at some YouTubers now and people I know in my life, and I'm like, this is bound for failure. Unfortunately, like I see the exact mindset that I was in, and there is no solve besides shooting yourself in the foot. And I know you guys are smart guys, and you obviously have a good read on people. So I'm just asking, did you see anything that alerted you about the way I was acting or anything, or did you just think, oh, this guy's crazy? And there's no right answer.
My answer is yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I need you to elaborate. Yeah. And why didn't you tell me, bro?
Because I didn't know. Like I think we kind of went a little bit into it when we were in Seattle, and I mean, again, your life was so driven by what you have to do every day that you don't. There's no time necessarily in your mind where you can pay attention to all these other things that you know. If you didn't pay attention to, it would make you get to the place that you end up getting to. I think the biggest red flag for me was, oh fuck, this is I don't want to be having.
Why don't you, say it. Like, that's why I wanted.
No, I just thought that there is a lot of people around you that were around you just for the clout of I'm around Logan and he's the shit right now and he's the biggest and he has the biggest highest numbers, but as I looked at just like feeling the energy around and seeing the people you're interacting with, like, are they necessarily caring about actually Logan and what he's up to and where the path that he's on is leading him to? I don't think so, because he's still doing that same thing every day and it's actually getting more intense.
Yeah.
So like, having people around you that don't necessarily challenge your opinions or the ideas that you're putting forward and just being yes men to, your, oh yeah, let's do it. Like fucking do it. Yeah, Logan, let's go.
Yeah.
Like you definitely want people that be like, dude, are you sure you want to do that?
Yeah.
What did you consider this thing or that person that might be hurt by you saying that thing? And then, but again, like, as we've gotten to know like Spencer, not too much, Mike, today was the first time meeting, we get to know more, but like I can already see just better people being around you. And this is not at all about anyone specific. I'm not like trying to.
No, I get. I mean, bro, look around. The crew. When you guys, there's no one here that's the same.
Yeah.
And again, not to like point fingers or anything, but you're absolutely right. And also, I think it is on me too, because I was in such a tunnel, and I urge you guys. I mean, you guys got great heads on your shoulders. I don't think you'll ever run into this, but I was in a tunnel where I didn't really care. I was like, getting views, I'm getting money. I don't get I know what I'm doing. No.
Where did you see it at the time? Where did you see it going? Like from where you were to where you wanted to go?
There was no end, man.
Yeah.
Like never thought about it. It was just, can I go harder and harder every day? And Yeah, I did. And eventually it led to just like a crazed mindset that literally was just not thinking straight.
Yeah.
I think your vibe attracts your tribe. You made a lot of changes after January to attract
Yeah, it started with you
a
actually.
much higher level.
Yeah.
with filming. But I the thing I noticed in you, because I knew you pre-January, I've known you for a few years, and I knew you after. The thing I've noticed for you that I think you might have missed of like what made you great is your ability to break rules. And obviously you took that to some extremes. Like, I'm not condoning everything, but your ability to go against what society deems as like the standard is what makes you great. And that's what pisses so many people off, you know, because you're living this lifestyle that, you know, most people living in the 9 to 5 or like that typical, you know, grind and just doing things. They're not used to it. They're not able to do that. And so I think that's what makes you great. And I think you're now post January figuring that out. And you're saying, wait. Okay, I'm great. Now I just need to make sure I do it in a way that I can pass that on to other people, which is, I think that's a great process to be a part of.
And I do think the best way to do that is, I mean, through the people. When I first met Spencer, we met 4 months ago?
Yeah,
5 months
about
ago?
that. Yeah.
At our, like an event we threw. And you told me, you're like, yeah, I'm Logan Paul's cinematographer. It's like, what?
Wait a second.
Dude, you just seem like the chillest dude on the planet.
Dude, that's
Yeah.
why we need him, bro. Spencer's been a great influence in my life.
amazing.
Absolutely.
And not
in my life too. Absolutely.
Yeah,
He's
the
incredible.
whole house, man.
Yeah.
He brought in Andre, and we love Andre.
Oh, yeah.
Both of them.
Andre.
The mindfulness committee.
I'm gonna flip this right now because I don't want to make this about
Please.
me. I was just curious
No,
because
good.
I do really value your guys' minds.
And that's why during a time when, as I said, I was about to touch his hand, I was about to get a little throwy. Yeah.
Dude, Amar's got some good, bro. He's just love.
No, it's all love. Man.
It's all love, dude.
I
It's all love.
respect it.
No, that's why, like, I thought, and I was kind of like pissed at the YouTube community for, it's like, people just want to find someone to just shit on because they have nothing necessarily better to do. And obviously your name at the time was getting views and, you know, anything that is being said about you. And we talked about this for a bit during, but it's like, well, how is, as a community of creators and as someone who has so much influence that so many kids are listening to, is our only response to someone fucking up gonna be for us to shit on them even more and make them feel terrible about themselves? That's why, like, I always try in opportunities where you do something, for, you know, that is positive or good, like to add that positive reinforcement to your behavior, because I felt that is, according to us at Yes Theory, like, being a good friend is the best, most efficient way to change the world,
Dude, one of the worst things that happened with all that is a lot of those people that brought hate and didn't bring any like actionable intelligence, like this is how you can do better, like it was just blind hate, were people that fucking ate off his plate, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of those friends that disappeared were people that are still eating to this day off a plate that he made for them. You know what I'm saying? And so like it was tough to watch. It was horrible to watch.
I want to take this macro conversation because it's like big thoughts and go a little more micro, and because like I do see a lot of myself in you guys, and that's why I love your stuff. Like when you made that Justin Bieber
awesome.
burrito prank, like I texted you, I go, you guys won, that's it. Like, how do you stomach approaching people? And for those of you who do not know, like these guys will go up to strangers and ask them to go like skydiving. You like list off the things you've done with strangers.
From skydiving to skinny dipping to going on a road trip on the spot to
Flying across the world.
This is crazy.
Yeah, it was like a wide range of.
Are you ever nervous, or does it hurt you when they say no?
It doesn't hurt me. It makes me happy that what we do has such a natural filtering system that whoever says no isn't the right person for what we're asking anyways. So it becomes more of like, well, cool. You're not that person yet. And then it pushes you more to be like, well, now I'm even more curious on seeing who's going to say yes. So in a way, it's never a disappointment. I mean, 1 year spent 3 weekends in a row trying to find a Lyft driver or an Uber driver to say yes to going skydiving.
Whoa.
At some point you're like, well, fuck, like all these people are saying no.
Do you ever start asking, am I just not being a good salesman with this?
Sometimes I realize that the asks that we have are so crazy and so out of the realm of like what someone can understand on the spot and you know, and a moment of like pitching to them what it is, but those are usually the ones where we meet like our best friends because it was crazy enough that they said yes to it, and then now we are just people who are on the same frequency, who want the same thing out of life. That's why they said yes. And usually also the pattern that we found is the people who need an explanation for what this is for, because the camera is on, because there's obviously a camera there, are not really the people that end up doing the things with us. It's mostly the people that say yes and then figure it out later. A friend of mine uses the analogy of throwing your backpack over the fence. It's like, if you know you want to go this way and there's big ass fence that's in front of you, throw your backpack, because now your only option is to actually
I like that.
get on the other side.
I like that a
I
lot.
knew you'd like that, Logan.
Damn, I do. I really like. Is that a shirt? Have you made merch?
Throw your backpack.
backpack.
I'd buy it.
Something about.
So yeah, it's like, you know, those people who just say yes and then figure it out. Even with Will Smith, that's even from Aaron, his story of being there, and for the people that were around him. The instant he saw the challenge video, he was like, yes, I'm gonna do that. And then later on, and then he started asking the questions. How many times has this been done? Is this even a possibility?
Yeah.
Has anyone died from this
Yeah.
before? Like, all these questions just came after, but then you decide something, and then energy around you just aligns to make that thing happen. And we are the biggest believers in that, because we've seen it happen on a daily basis over the past 3 years of being together.
Plus, you guys have gone from being like broke to having a channel of millions of followers and being able to even do these things. Like, clearly it works.
Yep.
Yeah, I just saw that. What was the money situation? I saw a video of you like, yo, we literally have no money, and there's three of
Yeah.
us.
I mean, when we first started, Thomas and Matt had just graduated university. Matt was the rich one out of
That was
all.
Papa Cash, baby.
He was balling.
He was our sugar daddy at that
Let's go.
point.
Why'd you have money, bro?
He was bartending.
savings. Yeah,
There you go.
bartending.
Save your money, kids.
Matt was bartending, and he had a clothing company that he'd
tight.
been working on at the time. Thomas just graduated. Kind of the expectation is that he goes on to work in tech, because he was into that too. But it was all fresh, so he was just taking time to figure things out. And for me, I was only living. I went to university on a full scholarship, sponsored by MasterCard, so they would give me a stipend to spend for every semester. And I was just, all I was doing is like spending the money that I was supposed to spend the following semester. And then I end up not going back to school. So, I mean, it all worked out at the end. But for the money situation, there's not that much cash where we can just invest in all these experiences and do all these things, knowing that there's about 800 people watching. I mean, not even at that point, towards the end of Project 30, which is how we kind of established this project, which we never got to in the Montreal story, because Logan is too ADD
And
But impulsive.
impulsive.
The number one podcast on the world. In the world.
Keep saying that. Keep saying that. It's gonna happen. Maybe.
Wait, what do you mean it's gonna happen? It's true.
It already happened.
It's pretty factual.
I checked the top charts. You guys.
No.
You're looking at the wrong charts.
The wrong
Those
charts.
wrong
Fair,
charts.
fair,
That's
fair.
fake news.
Because
bro.
I heard him say that. I was like, is that true?
Of course it's true.
Okay,
Of course. We said it.
You said it.
Hey,
Can I ask you
that's
something?
What motivation would I have to lie?
Right.
True.
Yeah, like what is
No,
I mean,
yeah.
What were you gonna say, Mike?
it? Yeah, why would we lie?
all right. Back to our story. Back to our story. Let's
I got
bring
a
this back.
question for you guys.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah, what is it?
He's in the midst.
I'm in the middle
what
of
are we
the
doing?
story. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it about the number one podcast still?
No, it's not. It's not. But
We don't want to talk about
It's
that.
about Montreal?
it is about Montreal.
Oh, here we go. Let's
get it. But so we, at that point, Matt still working as a bartender. Thomas found a job at a clothing store where he started giving people fashion advice, which was the most ironic thing, because
right.
at that point Thomas had no interest in fashion. But we just kept pushing, and kept, eating pasta and saving money, and Matt would pay for rent every month until we just got to the point where it was no longer about the rent. It was actually about my immigration status in Canada, because the only reason I'm Egyptian born and raised, and the only way I could be in Canada is by having a visa that allows me to study. So what happens if I'm not studying anymore? Then I can't be in Canada anymore. And I only had one leeway for a semester to do Yes Theory as a part of my studies, because I was studying cyber politics, which was in the realm of what I was doing with Yes Theory. And that was the month, like during the month of November is when we had to figure out, because after December, I'll lose my status and I'll become illegal in Canada, which was I mean, what do we do after
Yeah.
the whole thing ends?
Yeah, you turn into 21 Savage.
Everybody else.
True that. But then somehow we got this crazy email in November of 2015. The email was the offer from a studio that was working with Snapchat to actually move out to Venice, move us out here to LA from Canada, help us with immigration.
Wow.
Help us set up shop out here, have a house, car, insurance, everything, and give us budget to film anything we want to film, because they were just drawn so much to the concept and what we were trying to do with the content. At that point, we had about 8,000 subscribers, so nothing. But the pattern and what we were realizing is that from Project 30, and one of the episodes was getting the mayor of Montreal to meet with us on a 1-day notice, to then being able to get and at that point we were getting like 400 or 500 views a day, but we're still able to convince the mayor of Montreal, and then we had this happen where we get that email, and then just based on the community and based on the content that we were making, not necessarily numbers or views, and then after that we were able to also get the Prime Minister of Canada to meet with us and do a bit for an episode. So the realization at the point is that numbers don't really matter of how many views or how many subscribers you're having, but what really matters is people to see a very strong why that defines what is it that you're doing, that then you can sell them on.
Yeah.
And then that became our hack to having all these experiences, that we would just tell people why we're doing what we do, and backed by a community that was so engaged, no matter how big or small they were. People were always just down to act and down to help us out, put out a call out to someone or comment on someone's thing so that we can get their attention. And that's why I think the core of what we do at Yes Theory is to build and sustain and grow that community even further. So because we just see how much they've already done in the span of time that we spent engaging them through initiatives and through different things that we've done on the channel. And we can only imagine like how much bigger that can be when one day we can, with the community, can wake up and do a call out to do a specific action that then becomes global news one day. That's how big we're seeing this go.
That's cool as fuck, dude. I love that. And I think it can definitely get there.
Yep.
Just sitting here listening to you guys talk, it's obvious that you're very driven, motivated, and inspirational. And you made it a point to say that's what you aim for in your content. But I do have to ask, when you come up with a concept like, for example, the fake Justin Bieber burrito prank, what is the transformative nature of that video that warrants you doing it?
That's a great question.
Well, I think part of it too is we've seen a lot of wholesome content both on YouTube or everywhere you look, and it can quickly become kind of like cliche and just outdated.
Yeah.
And we don't want to be those guys that are like the goody two-shoes.
I love that. Yeah, fuck that, dude.
Yeah. And
Fuck
we also
that.
want to have fun, and we want to like fuck around a little bit.
Yeah.
And our way of doing that is kind of pulling a joke on the people who pull the most jokes, which is the media, who twist and lie and do all this kind of stuff. So we wanted to, sort of go after those guys.
Did you see the dude who did it after you guys with Travis Scott?
That was so horrible. That made me really sad, actually.
The
when I saw that
Kardashians were
him
not happy about that.
him referencing us as inspiration, like that is not why we did it.
Yeah.
And actually,
I mean-
adding on to what Matt was saying, because I talked about this earlier on the podcast that I was on. I think that was actually one video that our knowledge and our understanding of how the internet works over the past 3.5 years of being on the internet allowed us to sum up all this knowledge and make our bet on the thing going viral.
Yeah.
Because we kind of knew at this point what people react to online, what are the different elements that we can put together that can make a huge, and it wasn't that hard. It was so easy. And I think what we wanted to show people is that by being on the internet, like we've seen way more than you guys because we're kind of in the kitchen of the internet being content creators. Let us show you how this shit actually works, because you should not believe everything that you're seeing or everything that you're hearing. And I see it as the celebration of like the knowledge that we've accumulated on the internet coming to life in an episode that kind of pulled a prank on the world.
You guys trolled the world. Whose idea was it to turn the fucking burrito sideways? It was
one of our friends. We just brought him over.
hilarious.
You guys had like
Actually,
a flow
that
chart,
that
right?
friend knows, you know that friend very well. Taylor Offer from Feet Socks.
Oh my
He
God.
made-
Oh yeah, you did them.
It was his idea?
Yeah.
Yeah, baby. Shout outs to Taylor.
I loved you guys. It had like a float, like a circular diagram that had like all these wacky ideas, and burrito was one.
That's how we brainstorm our ideas.
incredible.
It's a mind map.
I was gonna courtesy of Thomas's mom teaching him how to mind map as a kid.
Wow.
Thank you, Helena.
That's amazing. Yeah, I kind of like chuckled when you said you guys have a Monday brainstorm because like he tries to get me to brainstorm.
Yeah, I think I'm a believer that like the majority of important or like impactful ideas in this world come out of aggressive brainstorming and collaboration with other smart and like-minded people. I don't think that I think that that's the key to everything. You know, I think it's sitting down, bouncing new ideas off other people's heads, and sometimes the idea that goes far isn't born out of an inception inside your brain. It's born out of editing or improving the inception of someone else, you know? And so I push him and kind of everybody here to let's sit down, the 4 or 5 of us, you know, for an hour a day, an hour a week, whatever we could find to bounce ideas off each other's heads. Because for example, the last doc we worked on, the Flat Earth doc, which is going to be coming out, you know, shortly here. It was aggressive brainstorm. Like we sat for hours.
I think
and
that's, that required it. I'm saying for like overall conceptualization and why, again, it's like, yes, I hear you and you're absolutely right. But I would say about 80% of my inspiration, dude, is like, comes from my home planet somewhere out in the space. It's like the fibers of my being are like, this is a good idea. Bam.
But it
which
could
is
be
what happened with the flat
It
Earth
could be
thing.
improved, is what I'm saying.
Oh, for sure,
Just
for
like
sure.
these guys, I'm sure the concept itself always starts with one person.
For sure.
But then they toss it out and it hits you, and you say, "That's cool, but oh, by the way, sorry to let you know, like it's already been done. But guess how we can make it better? Boom, 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 and then all of a sudden you have this beautiful thing that if you had 2 sets of hands on or 1 set of hands on, it would have been like a little mound of clay. But now you've got this beautiful statue that you've built out of this collaboration.
Yeah, even for the Justin Burrito, that's exactly how it worked out. Like we had one idea to make a fake viral video, and then we had this guy, Brad Souza, who looks just like Justin Bieber. And we're like, and Amar was the one that was like, why don't we just put these 2 together? And what's interesting about the brainstorming thing is we didn't really do the Monday brainstormings for a long time, but then we talked to Mr. Beast.
Oh yeah,
Jimmy.
Yeah.
And he was like, dude, 1 to 2 hours a day I brainstorm. We're like, that's how you come up with ideas? He's like, yeah, we'll have a dictionary and we'll like randomly flip a page and pick a word and be like brainstorm from that. And
My
we're like, damn.
my brother is with him now.
Oh, really?
Right now in North Carolina. Met him in person for the first time. He says he's awesome. Before Mr. Beast became like Mr. Beast, I'm talking like 4 million, 5 million. Before it really started blowing up, we would we'd Twitter or tweet at each other and we DM each other and talk about like the YouTube algorithm. That is a smart motherfucker.
Yeah, he's
bro.
on top of it. Numbers oriented.
About a year ago when I was vlogging and kind of understanding the space, like you said, we're sort of in the kitchen of the internet right now. I theorized that the person who can crack the code of what I coined as the Jenga format of YouTube videos will win hands down and take over. Jenga format being just like the game of Jenga, the stakes increase over time, right? So you watch from start to finish because it's getting more and more intense. Everything is getting, the stakes essentially are rising. And Mr. Beats does that in a lot of his content where it's like, you know, last one to leave the circle wins and you want to win $100,000 so you stay in that fucking circle. But then again, you're like losing your vital signs. So, he's really cracked the code. Shout out to Mr. Beast.
Yeah.
Still want you on the podcast.
Yeah. Did you guys meet him in person?
No, just on the phone.
Do you have like a YouTube clique? Like who do you hang out with, if anyone?
I guess we hang out with L Mills.
L Mills.
Podcast, shout out.
Just on the podcast.
Yeah.
We love her
That's
so
sweetheart.
who we were hanging out with most recently. We don't necessarily, Ella's not like in LA that much, or at least we haven't been. But mainly our friends Colin and Samir have got an amazing YouTube channel. Definitely recommend checking them out. Andreas Hem, Norwegian, brilliant filmmaker. Best like Hollywood-like content on YouTube. Who else? I feel I'm
We
gonna
don't really
forget
hang out with
someone,
too
and then
many
they're gonna
content
be
creators.
mad because I forgot to.
You're such a nice
shout them
guy,
out.
bro. You're so nice. I have a question about Will Smith.
Yeah.
How much time did you actually spend with him? Decent amount, yeah?
At least, yeah.
You learn anything important from him that you would only learn from Will Smith?
His circle, I think it goes back to the circle. Like he's kept people around him for minimum 20 years, you know?
Damn.
He's with the same hairdresser, the same
20
makeup
years.
artist.
Damn.
Same
like
wife,
trainer,
same kid,
wife,
like, all that
kids,
shit.
everything, dude. And that's how you do it.
Yeah.
It's like people that you can trust and that aren't necessarily yes men. Or yes
And then
women.
he treats them like family, which
Yeah.
like Will does not treat his crew as, oh, he's just my makeup, she's my makeup person, or he's my hair person. It's like everybody is a family. He invites them to the things that he does. It's just very communal. It's the community that around Will is so inspirational, and just made us realize how this is, because this guy, he's been famous since he was in high school. He's been famous. He won a Grammy for rapping, being the first rapper to win a Grammy, I think.
Yeah.
When he was in high school. So he's been famous for too long, and he had a very unconventional life. That the only way he kept his sanity to be 50 years old with a family, with a successful career and a successful family, is he
right
definitely
team.
figured something right. And we were very curious about what is that thing, and I think it was very evident from just the life, like how he structured his life around him.
I have to commend his ability to recognize the value in digital and fully commit.
Fully send,
especially like doing stuff with you guys. I have a question. The helicopter bungee jump that you did with him. You mad that it got hella views on his channel? And didn't yours get like way less?
Yeah.
Do you care? It was your idea.
Yeah. Do I care? No. I thought we really put a lot of effort into that specific story, and we put it out very, very fast. There's like 36 hours after the jump. We had like a full operation, 3 editors going at it. TD, Thomas, and Andreas were just like in Flagstaff in Arizona after, for like staying up all night, cutting down footage, making the video. And then I think obviously because people had seen it in the news and heard about the moment of the jump too much, they became desensitized towards seeing another title or a thumbnail of Will jumping out of a helicopter, because they just thought, well, I just watched him. I don't think I'm going to get anything more than that moment. But I think still, like, our core audience and the people that cared still watched. And
The OGs know, bro.
oh yeah. And that story is one of the ones that I'm like just proudest of, the storytelling and the way it was like laid out.
It was beautiful. Everything about it.
Yeah.
I feel like Will Smith and like his content, like you said, he's picked up digital really well. You guys were kind of referencing earlier, like you want to position Yes Theory as a part of humanity's future and be able to communicate a message to humanity. I see Will Smith and your guys' content's very similar. It's positive. It's bringing light to situations. Like you mentioned earlier, where do you guys see the future of humanity, the future of the world, and how your content?
Is it always going to be a
affects
shitstorm like it is now, is what we're saying? Are you optimistic?
Yeah. We're optimistic because we're creating that world that we want to be in, and we're able to live in it with people who follow the same ideals, whether that's around our physical spaces by the friends that we surround ourselves with, or the amazing community that was built. And that's where we just know that, eventually people are going to find, funny enough, like the discomfort that we're asking them to seek is only going to bring them comfort in finding each other, which was exactly what happened between myself, Matt, and Thomas. Is that by finding each other and by being able to develop this friendship, the comfort that we needed to face the world and to face all the challenges that were coming. Because it wasn't just, it wasn't sunshine and rainbow. Is that the term?
Sunshine and rainbows.
Oh,
Yeah.
that'll work, yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Not from here, just English
you go.
sometimes. But we went through a fuck ton of struggles and challenges as we built this, and moments where it all seemed like it was coming to an end. But by being with each other and supporting each other, that's all the comfort that we needed to actually keep going. And I think the community that we're building right now can replicate that experience between 3 friends. It can be just an infinite amount of combinations of friendships that are being built and people meeting. And we see that through people's eagerness to meet each other. Just as much as they would be eager if we were visiting a city to meet us. So most recently, for the episode we put out last Sunday, we had a challenge. We were making an art piece the concept was about connecting circle. It was going to be displayed in the Metropolitan Museum in Tokyo. And then we asked our community to go out and make actual physical circles and send us footage of it, because we're going to take that DVD that we're going to put all the footage on and put it in the museum.
Ah, that's cool. That's cool.
And then over 3,000 people, just on a whim, on a 24-hour notice, organized meetups just through Instagram comments and people saying, "Oh, I'm in that city, let's meet." And then we had like an an insane amount of footage being sent to us of all these people meeting for the first time, connecting as a community, and just realizing that like this is what it's about.
Yeah.
It's people being able to have that connection and as a goal for them in life, and to be able to establish to just have experiences that are. I'm losing track of my thought here.
I've been to one of your meetups, and it was when you guys did the dance party at the top of the mountain.
Yeah.
And I would recommend anybody out there to go to these meetups, because it is true when you meet people and you're on that same frequency in person.
Yeah.
Like that's what it's all about. That's what I think there's so many of us really truly down to our core want that. We want to meet and connect
And
with people.
belong and just feel like we're bigger. Yeah.
Well, I think discomfort makes you vulnerable. So the second you're vulnerable, especially with a group of people, like people see the true side of you and they're allowed to be vulnerable too, you know? And that's just the most beautiful experience, because you're like, fuck, I'm so embarrassed, but so are you. And you laugh about it, you know, and you connect on that level. Whereas a lot of like the connection today is very superficial and it's small talk. And like, that's just not our thing. Like just small talk in general. Like we just dive deep instantly. We're like, what's your biggest insecurity?
What is your biggest insecurity, Logan? I think I asked you this in person before.
Do you remember the answer?
You actually told me that you weren't necessarily insecure about anything at that point in your life.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What's my biggest insecurity? I think now is, to be honest, and like you guys probably see it in the content, is referring to the audience, is I'm afraid to fuck up again, dude. There is no room for me to fail anymore, which sucks, because yes, I'm gonna grow, but damn, failure leads to the ultimate growth. So, you know, watching what I say constantly, not being afraid to do certain things that I want to do, or even like, I sort of find myself stopping my thoughts sometimes. Like, how fucking dangerous is that? Because I think this cancel culture that has been bred by the world, it scares me. So yeah, I mean, maybe I'm being like a fucking bitch, and maybe I just need to sack up. And we talk about it all the time. Maybe I just need to sack up. And like,
That's the whole point.
yeah,
is
but
that
also like, at what point do I just own it and trust myself and go for it? Like, I'm gonna piss people off, man. I'm gonna.
You
For the
see,
rest of my
it
life,
does
people
not-
can be mad at me.
it does not have to be that you trust yourself. You've got a unit around you that you've built in a way that makes sure that there's accountability over you, and people around you that if you say something a little off in a podcast, they can be like, okay, like mark this, we're gonna cut it out of the edit because maybe it's not a great idea to say.
Well, yeah. Okay. So like the going gay comment, for example, which by the way, do I even need to clarify that you can't just go gay? Like, I'll just say, all right, I made my apologies and everything. I don't have a gay person on my team. So it, like, yes, I have a review team. It flew over their heads. Like, so sure, it's ignorance on my part, but it's maybe ignorance on the people around. At what point am I walking on eggshells where it's like some stupid comment like that I made blew up in the media, and in my turn to address it, what, the video got like 400,000 views. They don't give a shit. They just want to roast you and toast you, and then, you know, call you an asshole and move on with their day. They don't care about your apology, even though they demand one. They don't give a shit about it. They don't care how you tend to make amends with what they perceive as ill will. You know, so I'm just, my insecurity is I'm afraid of fucking up, which sucks.
But that's amazing. And I think you should say that as often as you can, almost, because that makes you so fucking human. You know, people are afraid to fuck up all the time. We're afraid to do it too. You know, we're afraid that if like a clip of us, you know, just goofing around leaks and we've said something really stupid and they're like, what? You know, what was that? And then it just spreads. We're like, that's not who I am.
Yeah.
But I'm human and I mess up and I'm afraid to do it. And dude, yeah, you're a human being.
Yeah.
I guess so.
What about you, Mike? What's your biggest insecurity? I want to know this.
Whew, I didn't know we were going here.
Let's go.
My biggest insecurity is not moving fast enough to make an impact with a story that I've held on to for a long time that I haven't told. That I'm working to pull together now. So I'm making amends for it. But a story that deals with a lot of suffering and is become kind of the leading cause of death in this country, and a lot of people are suffering with every day. And a story that I started telling recently that I'm moving now to produce into an entire. I have a book that's in final edits now, and so making sure it scares me to think that I could have helped people faster or more in a more impactful way than I did with a story that is as visceral and moving as mine is, you know? And so, that scares me. That
And
scares me.
you were just scared to put it out for so long.
For a long time. Yeah. I mean, I worked a lot in the corporate world. I mean, like, you know, like I think I worked with you guys on love sex stuff at one point. I think
Oh, yeah.
stuff. And so, yeah, it's just been kind of finding the right time. And so now it's kind of the time to step up.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm stoked for the book.
Yeah. It's going to be good.
Cool.
What's yours, Spencer? I want to know because I don't know if I know.
I can relate to Mike. I think mine is I've been working on a documentary about education for 5 years.
Wow.
And like my insecurity is how is that going to be received by people? You know, like how am I even going to do it? And just like recently, I've actually started to really put a lot of energy backing behind it. But, you know, I guess the insecurity is like just believing in myself that this film can really actually impact the educational system. Mm-hmm. And I'm addressing that. That's why I resonate with you, Mike, because you're, you know, every time you move towards putting something like that out, you know more about yourself and it actually starts to happen.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I took like little, it's funny because, you know, you guys talk about seeking discomfort, and kind of the first thing that I did that pushed me towards knowing I needed to do this was start talking about it. Like you just said, like start talking about it with yourself, with other people. And I made a short video on YouTube, and I don't make videos on YouTube, and it got like, I don't know, 400,000 views on it. And people started reaching out to me like, I've struggled with addiction. I've struggled with anxiety. I've struggled with a traumatic past. And like hearing you talk about it, like they don't even want a response from me. They just want to hear me talk about it. Hearing me talk about it gives them hope that they could aspire or it's okay to aspire to be so much bigger than they are right now, you know, and to do so much better. And so, yeah.
It frees people. That's the craziest thing.
Sure.
I remember when I was 19, I was like smoking a ton of weed, you know, in college.
Yeah.
And I gradually, like bit by bit, my anxiety just like overtook my life. And I had this insane panic attack, and my brain just completely twisted. And I was like this whole different person. I couldn't look in like people in the eyes, you know. I was just so socially anxious. I couldn't go out. I'd like lock myself in my room, and I would go on YouTube and I would look up. I had this like acute form of anxiety named, it's called depersonalization. And I would go on YouTube and I would look up depersonalization disorder. And there would be people with videos of like 5,000 views. And it'd go on for like 20 minutes, and I'd watch the whole thing. And it was dudes my age who were like, yeah, I smoked a joint and I haven't been the same since. And dude, it like completely saved me because I thought I was going insane. And then some of people got out of it, and I was like, damn, you can get out of that? That's incredible. Like through exercise, meditation, you know, getting your shit together, you can get out of it.
Have you put it away? Like, do you feel
the anxiety? No, I mean, I don't have that disorder as much, but the anxiety is still for sure there.
Yeah.
It's something I just deal with every day. And I heard actually you guys were talking about it yesterday on the podcast with Elle.
Yeah, with Elle. It's been a big topic for me because it's a contributor. I think mental health and substance abuse are completely aligned topics right now. And it actually brings up to another topic I wanted to ask you guys about quickly. What do you say to people who think that you guys have this imagination of this utopian, you know, universe where everyone gets along and talks to each other, and they say, I can't say yes to things because I have to go to my job to feed my kids, or I can't say yes to things because I have to find my next bag of heroin. You know what I'm saying? And those people are everywhere. They're everywhere. And so like, what do you say to these people that are struggling so much right now in their life? Just some people that don't even want to get out of bed because of their depression and anxiety. Like, what do you say to them to, like, it's not like, hey, do you want to come fly around the world with me? Like, what is it? What's your message to those people that can't say yes right now?
I think it has a lot to do with 100 Days of Sweat and kind of what's behind that mentality.
Yeah. I think people fall prey to wanting to make the drastic big decisions, or thinking that, oh, they need to say yes right now to something that will end up, you know, turning a switch and their life would just go around. And people don't realize that it's the practice of that you develop by saying yes to small little things every day. So you're just really concerned about, I don't know, feeding your family or doing whatever it is that you have to do. There is still ways that you can I mean, that sounds pretty uncomfortable as a setting to be in, where you have to,
Struggle.
to struggle to be for your family. But I think it's all about a choice of how you respond to your environment, and whether your active seeking discomfort is going to be to talk to a stranger in the grocery line or at the bus stop, because you just never know where that conversation will lead you. Here's the thing, and I heard this once from Jason Silva. I'm sure you know who Jason Silva is. And he said, juxtaposition is the perfect framework for serendipity to happen. So whenever you're exposed to very, very unfamiliar environments, places that you're almost not supposed to be in, and conversations that you're not supposed to have, this is when serendipity can occur. Serendipity, for those of you who don't know the meaning of the word, it's the really pleasant occurrence of something that is so unexpected but still so pleasant in nature. So I would call meeting Matt and Thomas very serendipitous event.
Absolutely.
And that serendipity happened because I decided to go check out a party that I didn't belong to or wasn't supposed to be there for. So always, as you are dealing with whatever it is you're dealing with in life, just always ask yourself, how am I exposing myself to a different perspective than what I'm living right now?
Yeah.
So if you're living with addiction, is there a path where I can expose myself to
living without it?
Or if I'm constantly thinking that I'm struggling and I have to make money, and that's my life is just revolving around my job, is there a passion, or is there anything small that you can say yes to on a daily basis that will eventually strengthen that muscle? So I've always struggled with procrastination and just focus and getting things done. Also, extreme ADHD case as a kid. Doctors wanted to fucking stuff me with meds, but never got to the point where I actually liked them. So I never took them. And one of the things that I struggle with most after particular events that happened over the last year is I fell back into depression, which is something that I've struggled with before. And it's really interesting to see people's reaction who I don't have a personal connection with when they hear that I'm dealing with depression, because they're like, dude, you're living the dream life. You get to wake up with your best friend every day and do all this crazy shit. But
how frustrating is that?
Because it has nothing to do with it. But moving on, and this is something that Matt had a huge just impact on me with, which is understanding the value of movement and physical exercise. And for him, dealing with anxiety every day and seeing how he deals with it, and seeing how proactive he is as he takes the steps that would prevent that, it motivated me to also okay, well, you know what? I'm sick of waking up and having these mornings where I don't really want to do anything or don't want to get out of bed. So I decided that I will make the commitment to sweat every day for 100 days straight.
Day 98 now.
Day 98.
Oh,
damn.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Congrats,
Are you gonna do a recap on it?
So I didn't do it for a video, and I was very careful with. I think maybe I'll do a recap for
This was
IGTV.
not content for you. This was
this was actually because I realized that if it becomes content, then I might kind of corrupt the actual intention and the reason of why I wanted to do this. I mean, we've used content to be able to push ourselves to do the marathon, the half Ironman. It's a great way you can use to actually push yourself further. But for this one specific, I knew I was about to do something that really scared the shit out of me: consistency and routine.
Yeah.
So
Why does that scare you?
I don't know. It's till this day I don't understand what is it about routine that really, really scares me.
Really?
And they say that it is the core way to cope and beat anxiety.
With any mental
That's the
health
first time actually I heard that when you said it yesterday.
wild. And it's Kevin Hines that talks about
Yeah.
concepts,
You know why?
routine.
You know why?
Why?
I don't know why it is.
Why is
Maybe
that?
maybe you've conceptualized this. But I think because routine is indicative of a form of comfortability, and your entire message and being is the exact opposite of that.
Well, it takes all unpredictability out of the situation.
But I feel I mean, I think there's a bad type of routine and there's the good one. The good routines are the ones that you intentionally plug into your morning, to actually create an environment where you can go about your day. So whether that, I started writing a gratitude list every morning, 5 things I'm thankful for, just right when I wake up, grab my phone, write it. Shouldn't be on my phone, but I do that for now because I'm trying to start a habit. And I think something that really helped me cope with the challenge of 100 days sweat is realizing that I cannot improve a habit that I still have not created, which is always what people, it's been my mistake the whole life. It's like, I want to go work out 3 times a week and just have the most badass workouts. But like, I don't even move or do anything that is in the vein of like, you know, sweating or getting exercise in, that all of a sudden I would start, you know, lifting. And at least for my brain, that's not how it works. For some people, it's easy to make the decision and commit. For mine, it was so hard because I would just always find a reason not to do it. But by saying that I'm going to do it for 100 days, setting the you know, the condition that allows me to check it every day to be super low. So I would do, on some days, my workouts would be just 10 minutes because all what I'm doing push-ups and sit-ups and crunches or whatever it is until I drop a sweat, and that was it. And those are days where before there is no way anyone would get me out of bed or I would leave and want to do anything. But on days now, I know that at some point it just becomes, I know I will feel so much shittier if I don't stand up and do 10 minutes of whatever it is that I'm doing to sweat than not do it at all.
Out of all the things that I've done in my life to correct bad habits or to improve myself, group counseling, talking to people, working on careers, trying different things, photography, everything, I probably owe the majority of my success to cardiovascular exercise.
Really?
Dude. It is the.
And by the way, all he does is
much.
the elliptical.
I do all
and it
kinds
works.
of, but listen, I also that's what he has here. That's what we use here. But, I mean,
I've only seen him
he
on the
jokes with me
elliptical.
about it. But when I got clean and when I started getting my life together, I weighed 300 pounds at one point.
Wow.
And
No
so
way.
I was about 100 pounds more than I weigh now.
Wow.
And I bought a secondhand bike. It was like $50, dude. And I started riding it every day, 20 miles, 30 miles, 20 miles, 30 miles, 20 miles. Every day I would ride that fucking bike, dude, and sweat. And I found that when I was on that bike, all the thoughts stopped. All the urges stopped.
Yeah.
Everything stopped.
Couldn't be on your phone.
Couldn't be on my phone. It took the phone out of the equation completely. So that was in my bag behind me.
Yeah.
And I would ride to this beach every day and I would set my bike up and I would look out over the beach. And like,
What was the
just
trigger for you? What got you out?
a number of things. Like the big inception point for like getting my life together was both my mom and the legal. So there was a bunch of different things, but what made it happen was also a number of things, but cardio was a major part of it.
Wow.
A major part of it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. And I preach exercise to everybody. Like if you're sitting around out there feeling depressed, feeling anxious, go for a run, pick up some weights, get on a bike.
Anything.
Anything.
And I think sometimes I couldn't agree more, but I think sometimes the idea of anything can overwhelm someone from taking an action because they don't know exactly
What
what is
to
it,
do,
what
yeah.
is it that they do. That's why, and again, as someone who, you know, I'm obviously surrounded by great people, very positive environment, opportunities to work out here every day with all these people around me, but I still wouldn't do it. Because again, I was trying to like improve on a habit that I didn't necessarily have, but it's only up until it became like an automatic thing in my mind where I wake up and I know that some form of exercise is going to be a part of that, is when I actually started, you know, perceiving myself better. I always had this very negative narrative around myself and the way I would speak to myself and, you know, lack of self-love and not taking very good care of myself and what I eat. But as you kind of establish, they call them keystone habits, which is like are habits that can affect other aspects of your life. And exercise is one of the biggest keystone habits that you can form. And again, I didn't do it for any physical transformation. My body doesn't necessarily look that much different now because again, I was in it to just get my mind to accept the idea that no matter what, every day I'm going to show up for myself and I'm going to do something active.
I have an idea.
Go for it.
I think it's gonna be good for your mentality, your physicality, and most importantly, your
sexuality.
channel. Your sexuality. Nah, your YouTube channel. This would be sick. Why don't you do a yes theory on taking up boxing and being on the undercard of my rematch
Oh, boy.
versus KSI?
That's, you know what? That's Matt. Matt is the fight. I am not a fighter at all.
Really?
know
Would
if I could do it.
you ever?
Think about that. That'd be sick.
I'll think about it. I'll talk to the.
Something
Think
doesn't-
about that.
Something
Exactly.
doesn't
Think
fit
about
into
that.
yes theory about just going and beating the shit.
No,
out
it's
of
Yeah,
not.
somebody.
that's the only
It's not
thing.
about that. For me, it is. I'm going to kick KSI's ass. Yes, but for you, Theory, for you guys, I think it'd be more about the journey of becoming a boxer, bro. That shit is hard.
Boxer.
I have to
And-
say, I've always wanted to be in a cage fight as a thing.
Oh my God.
I'm doing it.
Yeah,
I'm
you're
doing it.
speaking to him.
I'm doing it, bro.
So,
Before I die, I need.
depending on how the Iron Man goes.
absolutely gonna be in a cage fight.
All right,
Ideally,
maybe
the
I'll do
UFC.
it. Maybe I'll do it. But I think in return, if I did do it, you'd have to do. I guess both of you would have to do an Iron Man. with Spencer.
Do you see?
At
Logan
some
just
point.
checked out instantly.
If they have an elliptical, Mike will be there.
He wants to do it, and to be fair, he's not saying it, but I have 25 screws in my right ankle. And
I know that was the.
and so I have a degenerative arthritis in my right ankle.
Okay.
That's a result.
No,
of
okay,
all
you're
that
making me feel bad.
Shit that
You're
I
making
don't
me.
know.
No, I think he's doing it on purpose.
No,
I was
going to
mention the bad ankle.
I just want him to understand why I'm not running marathons. If you want to do a 180-mile cycle, I can do it with you right now.
And he'll probably win, dude. Mike's a beast on the bike.
Oh yeah.
Mike's a beast.
One thing that stuck out, one of my last notes in your story, like your journey and your progression to get to this point where you're able to even do 100 days of sweat. You're able to stick to this. You're able to get out of these mental, both of you, all of you. You started with just one decision. There was one thing to get out of your comfort zone. So I think that's a message that I pull from you guys. That's such a healthy reminder. Is we tend to make it so complex. We're like, oh, my life is where it's at. How do I get out of this? Blah, blah, blah. And you start going down this path. But really, in all reality, it's one thing. And how I relate to that, which I don't think I've ever told you guys, back in January, when I saw Logan's tweet, I was concerned for him. I was like,
Which one?
The first one.
Yeah, when you saw what you saw in Japan.
gotcha.
Talking about the first like apology.
No.
What tweet?
No, when you saw, you said what you saw in the forest.
Oh, okay.
And I was like genuinely concerned. I was like, I hope he's okay. And so I thought about texting him just to like send some support. And I asked one of my friends, I was like, should I do it? Because I didn't want to I didn't want to have it come off wrong. And they said, do what you feel is right. So I had this decision and I put my phone down. I was like, nah, I'm not going to text him. And then 5 minutes later, I was like, you know what? I'll just text him, send him some love, send him some support. I sent you that text. I don't know if you remember that. Just checking in, see if you're all right. But if I would have never sent that text, I wouldn't be sitting here. You wouldn't have, you and I wouldn't have met. You and I wouldn't have made that documentary. Like I was that close to not texting you.
When was the last time you guys had talked?
What's that?
When was the last time you guys had talked?
Probably like months.
Yeah, six months.
6 months or so. So I think even just like reaching out to someone, seeing if they're okay, checking in with someone, like reaching out for help, like it never was, I didn't go into it with any intention.
For sure.
And it's like, you never know what the world can open up.
It's crazy what "Are you okay?" can do,
Right.
as a question.
Big truth.
How much it can
All right,
open up.
I challenge people watching right now to not necessarily say, "Are you okay?" but just text someone that you've never. Text someone that you haven't talked to in a very long time.
that you've never texted.
that you haven't met yet.
Text someone that you haven't talked to in a very long time and just check in and see how they're doing. Thank them for being a part of your life.
I like that. Yo, on that note, I want to go to the audio version only. It's just a short little Q&A, so you got to go to iTunes or Spotify. But if you're here on YouTube, just do me a favor. Hit that fucking subscribe button. Yes, Theory. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Impaulsive. Yeah, you guys are great. Awesome. Thomas, we miss you, man. Maybe we'll come through. Maybe we'll see you soon.
We'll send Thomas on his own to just get
I'd love that.
Thank you guys again for listening to this episode of Impaulsive. Mike does more than the elliptical. That was a joke. You just got so serious after I said it, and now I'm feeling bad.
I didn't mean to.
I didn't know you were gonna drop a bomb.
No, well, I just was being honest about things. So
Is that you reaching out to Mike? Make sure he's okay.
Are you okay?
my ankle kind of hurts.
You guys should people should see you doing it. You should do it right now. Logan specifically, you just like pull out your phone, text someone you haven't talked to.
I can do that right now.
I'm gonna do that as we go to
should
the
they
audio
text?
version only.
Hey, thinking about you. Very.
Is this gonna get me laid or is this like good intentions?
This person just
Good
texted me all these times, right? And is an old friend from Connecticut, and his last text is too cool for me now, huh?
Oh.
I'm gonna text him back
You know what?
right now.
Do a voice. Have more personality. It's like, hey, dude.
Hey Paul, what's up, man? Been really busy, just grinding out here with LP, but just want to check in with you and say I miss you, man. And I'm gonna text you again after I send this voice memo right now.
I sent mine to. That was good.
That's great.
I sent mine to my brother. Feel like I worded it wrong because it just said, "You feeling okay, bro?"
He's like, wait, what's going on? I'm like, good.
Did you see something online or something?
We're going to the audio version only. Like and subscribe. Peace.